Good morning. Namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana, if you are new, and today I am here in part responding to Nova's tarot tag, out of print, unapologetic. I do have a lot of out of print tarot decks, and I am in the process of reorganizing my production for YouTube, and just thinking that some of these decks may help to fund some new equipment. So that is also one of the motivations for this. So yeah, let's begin and look at some very, very beautiful cards. Today I'm going to start with the Telluric Tarot, and I have to tell you that I was I don't know what the expression is. I feel like I have grown. I have grown a lot since I purchased this deck through Kickstarter. And all right, what is going on? Just bear with me. I am just doing a quick camera shift here. And see if I can fix this up. So what I was about to say, I guess I will do them upside down. Okay. Hopefully you're seeing the cards the right way up. What I was about to say is that I feel that since I participated in this Kickstarter, a lot has changed. A lot has changed with my experience and growth. I'm sorry, I just need to fix my camera, and I'm sorry, I thought I had this all set up. There we go. Now I can turn the cards facing me so I can see them. And when I come back to this, my complaints about this deck are not as significant. I feel like I have grown in patience and experience and understanding with what Lunaria Gold had attempted to do in this deck. There are a lot of extra cards. It doesn't follow the tarot system completely. So we start with, in the major arcana, this beautiful card called Bismuth and Fern. And not only the major arcana, life is just full of challenges, isn't it? Not only the major arcana, but each of the minor suits have a extra card that begins the suit that captures the energy of each of the elements of the suit. And I really like this because when we start with this sweeping overview from the creator, we understand more about what their intention is with creating cards and creating a deck. And I have heard, this is the beautiful Labradorite full card. I've heard Lunaria talking about her work on this deck. Now, I know there was a second iteration of the deck. This is the first one. There are some print errors. There are a few things that aren't perfect, but this is really quite an extraordinary deck. And I think that growing through the interpretations of more systems, getting more comfortable with Tarot de Marseille, expanding my crystal knowledge, Thoth correspondences, astrological correspondences, I have really come to appreciate a more complicated deck like this. I just want to respond to and let's see. Hello, Neo Joint. This isn't really the place for that kind of spam. All right. Can you look after that for me, Dee, please? So I've learned something here, and I've said this before when I have, when you don't respond to a deck right away, one of the best things that you can do is just put it away for a little while. And sometimes that little while is longer than you would anticipate, because there's nothing worse than coming back to a deck. I absolutely love this card. This is Opal and Dephilia, and this is the 8th Arcanum. What's different? Let me finish that thought. So there's nothing worse than coming back to a deck. Wanting to go back to a deck or realizing you see it on somebody else's channel and it's like, it's gone, I sold it. So I really feel like I've grown into these cards. It might be something that I could work with at a different level. And I really have, I love Amylite. This is something that I first saw many, many years ago when I took my kids to the Badlands in southern Alberta, to the dinosaur, I don't know if you would call it a museum, but there's a few places there where you can look at some of the fossils and things. And yeah, so Amylite is just so really, really amazing. Hello, Saskia. Namaste. So yeah, this is, I may be willing to give this deck another chance. Of course, always love the amber card here with the fossilized insect. Yeah, it's really something. So just let me show you the beginning of each of the suits. This is the World card. Look at this. Rainbow tourmaline, an orchid. And then we begin with the Suit of Cups. And it's really, really hard to identify the suits here. You need to take time to read the guidebook, sort of fix up, at least in this edition, fix up a couple of the errors with numbering and so forth. But I'm going to say I think it's so worthwhile. And so here we have this particular card that captures the energy of the entire Suit of Cups. And then we go into the cup cards. And of course, we don't have court cards because we're looking at crystals, and we have they're numbered through 14 for the king. And then we have a 0 card and sulfur and rowan is the 0 card for the suit of drive, the suit of drive. So yeah, I was really surprised at how much time I spent going through this yesterday. It was kind of, wow, I'm really glad I still have this. So yeah, so this is Lunaria Gold's Telluric Tarot. I'm going to jump between some really sort of special decks that are hard to get a hold of and other ones that are more readily available. I hopped on this deck really, really late to the party. So around the time that the borderless version was becoming available, I purchased this deck. Lisa de Saint Croix. I guess this is my experience with this deck was, wow, I didn't realize until I had it in hand what a great deck this was. Hello, Arya. Namaste. Welcome to Saskia and Amelia. And what a great reader this is. And yeah, the orange borders are kind of odd, and it doesn't necessarily correspond to, I don't know, sacral chakra work. But I have really come to love this deck. And in particular, some cards, the Knight of Swords is one that has really, really spoken to me. And you know, I'm thinking about this Four of Wands because we had a discussion in another deck that I'm going to share with you today, and that's the beautiful Rebellion. Just let me see if I can get the card on the table. Yes, because when I was doing the Top Tarot Trumps card, this is the beautiful Rebellion, I chose this Lady Godiva card as one of my cards, and I felt a lot of compassion for her story and the backstory, or at least the version that's told in the beautiful Rebellion guidebook. And I am looking at this card and I'm thinking, wow, okay, I can read this in a whole other way now because of that story that was awakened within me when I read the beautiful Rebellion guidebook. So Lady Godiva charges into this Four of Wands. This has been a card of Venus supporting the strong masculine energy of this card. Four, right? Four, Emperor, fire. And there's some reason that this powerful feminine energy is needed here to support the powerful masculine energy. We also have a full moon. So there's a lot that's going on in this card. And I want to thank Robin Cole for including the Lady Godiva as the chariot in the other card. So as I was saying, so this is a great cross-cultural deck. And it's now borderless or has black borders. And I really kind of like this version. I've had some, like the Judgment card, this is a great card. Just the switch in perspectives has been really good. And it just reads like a dream. Hi, Tammy Pie. This is the Page of Wands. It's come up for me in a few readings. And the Page of Wands has climbed a tree like many Pages of Wands do. And it's like they're painting the clouds. Is this person, this could be Diego Rivera on a scaffold painting a large mural, but this is just so, I don't know, dreamy and creative. And I really, really like this card. Yeah. And like I said, lots of cultures, lots of time periods as well too in this deck. And this is a crazy card. I will show this in my top tarot minors and talk more about this Ten of Wands, but it's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, this is the Tarot de Saint Croix by Lisa de Saint Croix. All right. Hello, Tammy Pie. Welcome. So let's have a look at the beautiful Rebellion, since I showed you the Chariot card from that deck. Not very often do I print the PDF that comes with the deck. And I can't remember if this was launched on Kickstarter or Etsy. This is the first edition of the beautiful Rebellion. And I decided to print this PDF. I don't know if I did it right away, but the reason I did was because Many of the paintings are landscape paintings. Let me just see if I can go through. We're only going to see portraits here. Oh, I just passed one. So here's one here. And when a curated deck chooses a landscape painting, you lose a lot of the mood of the painting, right? And so without having the PDF, and I suppose you can zoom, of course, and zoom in on the screen, but I just really like having this book here. Yeah. So it gives the card more meaning when you know the backstory. And I talked about this in one of the Wands cards, in the one that was the funeral of a Viking, that particular card. Okay, so I put the deck down. Here it is. Now this deck is available, I believe, on Make Playing Cards and Robin Cole on her website. I'll show you her other deck as well too that I supported as a Kickstarter. Her decks, similar quality, are still available, but this is the first edition. This is the card I'm talking about. And by seeing the whole painting and knowing what the painting represents gives you a completely different story than using it intuitively and looking at the artwork and wondering, I'm thinking in that Five of Wands, if there is another path forward through the crevice that is just in the background. There's a few paintings that really caught my eye when I purchased this deck. This is one of them. It's a painting of Morgana on this Fool card. I believe I shared that in my top Fools, top tarot majors. I don't know. It's there's some powerful choices here, and if you have Tarot of Delphi, some of the paintings are the same. This is one of my first Six of Swords and it's kind of like the Eight of Cups, you don't really see the perspective of the person who is left behind. And I kind of like this. Now, you could also say that the boat is coming into the people that are here. And I love the creative potential that a deck like this offers. I will forever remember this Seven of Swords. It just gives a whole new meaning to the card, and I've made up numerous stories to go with this one. And I think it's brilliant. I mean, this deck came out, I don't know, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that it came out, but I really appreciated the choice of varying genders in the court cards. And some of the stories or the backgrounds of the paintings really do help to deepen awareness of some of the card meanings. So yeah, so that's the beautiful Rebellion. I believe that was Robin Cole's first deck. Her second deck, Emerging from Darkness, I supported on Kickstarter because I loved the beautiful Rebellion so much. And I have to say, it is one of very few contemporary decks that I have kept. It comes in a tuck box. It is still available, I believe, through Make Playing Cards. I don't know if the book will be the same, but this is the intention of this deck, is working with shadow, and every card has a sort of a well thought through process. And I will share this book in more detail today when I talk about part 2 of Tarot Books for Healing. This really is It's a lovely, lovely deck. Yeah, I'm so glad that I have it. Now, if you, and I don't know if the, obviously the Make Playing cards is not going to come with the gilded edges. It was one of those decks where it was kind of plasticky and you had to peel the cards apart one by one. But I am a sucker for sepia or monochrome decks that use color sparingly. And the images in this deck are just really, really something. It's color coded, which does help. Let's see if I can get, oh, now you'll see it. Do you see? No, you can't see the colored nail polish. Well, I'll just go through until I find a card that's got a little bit of color on it. There's one. On so many levels, this is such a brilliant deck. And I know a lot of you who did this tag shared decks that are, you know, they're currently available in other iterations. So I do have a few of these for you. I think this is a fantastic devil card. I sure hope I included that in my list. You know, it's funny, when I did the prep for Top Tarot Trumps, I went through every single deck, cleaned out my shelves, and I think some I missed. So you see, not a lot of color. You know, it's so funny. Like, I released or I sold Krista Rhodes' deck. I sold so many of these contemporary decks, but there's something about this one that is a little bit, it's a little bit different. Emerging from Darkness by Robin Cole. I am so happy to say that this deck is now going to be available mass market, and it's gonna. I can't remember what the publisher is. Yeah, it is. It's very emotional, Tammy Pie. But this is coming in a small 2-part box, and I was almost thinking it might be worthwhile to get the mass market and to do a comparison. This is Rachel Pollack's Shining Tribe. Now, this is a brilliant book. So what is going to be different with the new deck is you're not going to have this massive book, because I think I've seen it's coming in a small box. I put the deck in the pouch that I got with Tarot Avatar. I just thought it matched the energy so well of this deck. And it is my intention to do some sort of a project with Mother Peace in this deck, and because Mother Peace is still available and now this is available, that's even more motivation to put that together. And so this is one of those decks where we constantly are reminded of issues of human involvement in the world, and the theme of reciprocity. And in a way, when I look at a card like this, it reminds me of the deep dive that I did with the Hezicos Tarot. When we're looking at certain cards that have so many little bits and pieces and trying to absorb all of the symbols and digest what's going on at the same time, it can be a little tricky. So obviously this is the suit of trees. I did sort this because I was going through it for top tarot minors. Trees is staves or wands. That's a really cool 3. So if you like this kind of deck and you want a piece of Rachel Pollack, have a look on Amazon, because I did see that it is it's coming back. Let me show you another suit. So there's a suit of rivers. This is water, obviously. And birds for air. Speaker of birds. And stones, which seems to be a very popular suit name. I'm thinking the Wildwood Tarot has this name, the Greenwood Tarot has this name. I feel like there's a few different decks that use stones for the suit of pentacles. There is your 20th Arcanum. So I hope I can feature a few more of the cards from this deck in Top Tarot Minors. Mel Moline, sells her decks on tarotcard.com. And this is a very special edition of the Rosetta. This one is the Papyrus Gold edition. And on this deck, the backs are kind of iridescent. I don't know if you can see them. Oh, hello, Arcana 73. Sorry, I was just looking for some special cards. Oh. This is not the edition I meant to bring out. You know what? I'm going to pause and bring out my limited edition, which is actually the smaller cards, tomorrow. Okay? This particular edition has English on it, and it's still available. This is not the Papyrus Gold edition. So I will bring that out in the next group of cards. My mistake. Okay. I know that several people have had a hard time finding Laurie LePage's Tarot de Aux Arcs on Make playing cards. This is the first edition with red backs, and Tarot of the Aux Arcs 2 has orange backs, and I believe That's the only difference. This is a gorgeous deck. At one point, I called it my Easter egg deck, and it's just a feast for the eyes. The suits are not color coded. I suppose a little bit. These are the majors, and it is, I mean, you can use it as a Tarot de Marseille, but the minors are the feature of this deck. And I want to show you what I mean. I'm going to go to this. So here you can see. So these are the quartz for the suit of wands. And the suit of wands kind of does have a brownie color to it. But what Lori does is she uses other colors, and they really do bring in layers of meaning. Like you'll be surprised with shifts of color and how they can be interpreted. Just like in other Tarot de Marseille decks, you use the bits of ribbon and greenery to add layers of meaning. But let's go ahead to the suit of swords, because there's a couple of ones that are done really well. So this little peephole through the swords, I really like that. And there's one with light, like there's the use of light, and the yellow in this particular card. I really like what she does with this one. And in that way, I think it makes it a really good beginner's deck if you have never worked or read with the Tarot de Marseille before. And this suit, so the suit of coins is just, or denier, is really extraordinary. Every card is just a piece of art. Just a piece of art. I mean, it's so beautiful. So this one is 2017. And honestly, the new backs I think they're even prettier. So yeah, this is. And the writing is impossible to read on many of the cards. So it's one of those decks where you really want to take your time to go through and do the painted tarot has a similar feel, right? Type high. You want to do a side by side and go through and find your way with the court cards, because it will be a bit of a journey finding your way there. Okay. Next, may as well do this one. This is a Anna Maria Ferguson deck. This is called Legend, the Arthurian Tarot. It does not show up well on camera because it's very, it's not saturated at all. And this is my next series that is coming up on my channel. I'm going to do it more like a podcast than a live stream, but I may do some of them live, but still be more like a podcast, so something you can listen to. And I will have a card or a couple of cards featured on the screen. It's a really sort of poignant journey through the Arthurian tales, variations of the Arthurian tales. The use of red in this deck is just absolutely stunning when you see like a dragon in a deck. And this deck really lends itself to wandering through the guidebook. So I'm going to begin with the Ace of Cups. I have my first 2 episodes all planned out, and just sort of wander through the story randomly and really take my time. I may also bring in some of the stories from the Llewellyn And maybe even the Greenwood Tarot. I was reading something in the Greenwood Tarot guidebook yesterday, and I just thought it might fit. So yeah, the use of red and purple in this deck are really, really something. The aces are the pages are animals, not the aces. Yeah. So this is Legend, the Arthurian Tarot. I started to edge it in silver, realized it didn't show up at all, so I've got to finish it, but it was a really goopy silver paint, and anyway. All right, so let's go to the Greenwood Tarot that I just mentioned. I was fortunate. I was gifted this deck. I did pay the postage. Came across the Pacific from New Zealand to me, Anna Smith. And I have not started working with this. And because I was doing a deep dive with the Wildwood Tarot, and I have done a couple of years where I've gone through a year in the Wildwood, I was really curious about this deck. And there's a few things that are quite different with the Greenwood than the Wildwood. So this, Mark Ryan is also in this deck. The artwork is by Jessica Potter. And there was supposed to be a new version of this deck coming out, but I don't think it ever did. And one thing I do want to say, loud and clear. Loud and clear. I do not support purchasing fake decks, stolen decks, counterfeit decks. So even when a deck is out of print, I don't think anybody has the right to sell the art. And unfortunately, many of these decks are available as counterfeit decks. And if you don't know how to identify a counterfeit sale, then you need to learn. And I want to protect the integrity of the original deck and the energy of the deck. And it just saddens me that most of these decks I'm showing you today have been appropriated by companies in certain countries where it just feels like there's a right to do that. It's so sad. Okay, so Wheel of the Year, you're all familiar with it. I'm going to put the summer at the top, which is there now. And one of the differences with this deck is that, okay, so let's go to over here to Iook. So the same as the Wildwood Tarot, the Sabbats begin at February 1st, Iook, which is where my finger is here. And we go around the wheel clockwise, which is the opposite of the astrological wheel, which we go around counterclockwise. It is the same in that we have majors assigned to each Sabbat on the inner and outer wheel. So that's the same. What is very different is the way that the minors are organized. So for the first Sabbat, which is Iook, all of the aces have a connection. And the twos and the sixes are at the equinoxes. And the fours and the eights are at the solstices. The nines and tens are in the center of the tree. So there is a bit of a different... there's a different way in the Greenwood Tarot than the Wildwood. It is not just an earlier version of the Wildwood Tarot. And this is very soft art. It reminds me almost as if, I wonder if, you're kind of looking through a sheer curtain, through a veil to this secret world. I put some of these in order. Hello. Milky, and you will recognize, so the Archer is also the Chariot card in the Wildwood Tarot, and the Ancestor, right? So that'll be, so there's some things that are familiar, and then others not so much. And you know, this, it has like an old school feel to it. There's something about, this is the Temperance card. I don't know, it's like the energy of decks has changed. It really has. This is a really pretty moon card. And again, even in the minors, you'll recognize some familiar cards. So we have arrows, and then we don't have bows. There's wands. So arrows for air, wands for fire. And in the Wildwood Tarot, there's cups, and in this deck we have, there's vessels, and in this deck we have cups. And then stones. And like the Wildwood Tarot, there are keywords. And the book is chunky enough that you can find your way through this. I mean, honestly, I think if you're coming to this deck, then you would have some experience with the Wildwood or something similar. I do not have the Shapeshifter Tarot. This is a deck that's really hard to find. I was looking on eBay, and there's one listing on eBay for $3,000. This is a treasure of a deck, the Hezicos Tarot. This is by Mary Griffin, and the little guidebook is really cute as well too. It reminds me of an old school book, like an old school scribbler. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, crazy, huh? The little gnomes and trolls. There's just something about this, and do you know, I need to get a new copy of The Secret World of Og by Pierre Berton, because this deck reminds me of The Secret World of Og. And I imagine that Mary Griffin's children had their own little secret world of Og, and this was part of that. Yeah, I love the Four of Wands as well. The only thing in this deck that I think people struggle with is the court cards. I love this broccoli. Oh my goodness. And so here, the court cards are close up. And so if if you are an experienced reader, it doesn't make any difference, but some people are not comfortable with close-up court cards. I don't know how long it's been listed, Dee. I just went through and looked at some of these decks on eBay to see what they were going for the other day, and I've looked before and never found a Hezicos listing, so I don't know. And I don't think I've ever seen it on Tarot Marketplace. So this is the Hezicos Tarot by Mary Griffin. The Victorian Fairy Tarot, there was a Kickstarter. I don't know if it's going to be picked up mass market again. I missed out on the original English go at it, and I have the French version, which is not available anymore, and I have the Russian version. So, yeah, this is in a large magnetic box, not Llewellyn, EDA, with a large guidebook. And I have put these cards in order. And this is such a precious. Oh, yes, the tigers and the dragons are just beautiful in the Hezicos Tarot. This is such a precious Fool card. This is the only card in the deck that has a human. And the human follows the fairies and wanders off into the land of the Fae, probably gets lost, falls in a river, falls in a creek. Again, this is another deck that is kind of muted. The colors are soft. And one of the things with this deck that is so beautiful to read is the seasons. So it's organized by seasons. This is the major arcana, obviously. And we have in the ace, I'll show you the first ace here. There's Le Soleil. Okay, so this is the ace of spring. And the aces are a, what do you call it? Like a door to the next season. So you see the winter in the back and you see the spring in the foreground, that sort of thing. Oh, so people don't have the new version yet. Okay. And so spring is the first suit of wands. And my favorite suit is the suit of summer. Oh my goodness. I just love the suit of summer. The little fae playing in the river. Like, oh my God. It's so beautiful. It reminds me of my summers as a child. And this is a really, that's a really special Five of Cups. Letting the sandcastle go. Yeah. Victorian Fairy Tarot. Artwork. So, artwork is by Gary Lippincott. And obviously this book is in translation because it's in French. And I don't know that the translator is on the cover here, because I don't know if Linnea Weatherstone translated this herself. Oh, no, it is. Translated from English by Dominic Chichera. And it has colored pictures. Very nice. Okay. One of you lovelies, it was Sharon. Oh my goodness. And I know a lot of you have multiple copies of Ionassios's decks. This is the first edition of the Stunning Tarot. And it was Sharon, help me with her channel name, when she did this tag, she had 3 variations of this deck on her table. Oh my goodness. I mean, I think this is a special deck, but really, three copies. And I know I've seen people have the Ionassios, multiple versions of the Ionassios as well. I really like this full card. I did talk about it. Some of my favorites are at the top because I've pulled them out for my tarot series, Top Tarot Trumps and Top Tarot Minors. 13. The Pentacles has a Egyptian theme to it. The Suit of Swords has a mermaid underwater theme to it. Oh, does it? There's some sort of, there's an overlap. I haven't used this deck for ages. But I love the purple. Suit of Wands is purple. And there is a PDF guidebook you can get from her for all of her decks. And you know, I remember when I first got this deck, I said something about how similar the color of the Suit of Swords and the Suit of Cups was. One was supposed to be more pink, and one was red. But honestly, they don't look very different in this edition that I have. I have seen the Nemeth Tarot and the Camino Journey. I don't know which path, but that is definitely on my bucket list. And I think it would be really interesting to have the Nemeth Tarot or read the Nemeth Tarot guidebook before going on that journey. I mean, I've read so many books on the Camino and have not yet done it yet. So this is the first edition of the Stunning Tarot. I have not opened this. And I should have brought the Primordial Tarot to the table. This deck is, I bought on eBay around the time that the Primordial Tarot came out. And this is the original version of the Primordial Tarot. and called the Tarot of Origins. And these are the backs. Oh. You know what? I'm not going to open it. I'm just going to keep this as a collectible. But they do have borders, and it does have a Lo Scarabeo guidebook. Now, this little guidebook is all in English, which really surprises me. It's not one of those Lo Scarabeo guidebooks that has multiple languages. So it definitely will be more useful than a contemporary one. I don't know if I will open it, or I was so moved with the Primordial Tarot. It kind of rocked my world. Okay, now I'm going to show you this version of the Naked Heart Tarot. And I think I looked at her website, Gillian Wild's website. I'll see if I can get an edition here for you. This book is 300 pages. And on the website, it says the little white book is 144 pages. So this is copyright 2018. This is second edition. And this little guidebook is really something. The amount of content for a little white book is really extraordinary. The amount of detail and energy for every single card, and the background info on the deck. It's really too bad that, I guess, when decks go to mass market, you lose some of that. There were also some card changes. And I remember when the next edition came out, watching it on Lisa Papez's channel. And, obviously people are going to like some of the new cards and some of the changes better than first and second edition. So this is second edition of the Naked Heart Tarot. And it's one of those decks that the white space can be really, really captivating. Really, really captivating. I feel like it just gives you room to breathe and find connection and wander among the cards. I did talk about this card in Top Tarot Trumps. And so very RWS inspired, and some really creative takes on how it's portrayed in its simplicity. And I think it's a great first pip deck. I don't have too many. Tammy Pie says that's why I keep multiple editions of certain decks. Yeah, I don't have too many. This is the bonus card in this deck. I think this is one of the very best extra cards. Yeah, I don't have too many multiple copies of different versions of decks anymore. It's almost like this is velvet. And because this is, it's not rose petal finish, but it's just lovely, lovely texture. It's got some sort of a finish on it, but it's not sticky like rose petal. Yeah. So this is the Naked Heart Tarot by Gillian Wilde. Second edition. All right, let's do one or two more. Oh my goodness, this deck has a I wanted some support with this deck. Master Thaworn Bunya 1 has a Facebook page, and I'll be sure to link that below. If you do have this book, you need to go to that Facebook page because you will get so much more out of the deck. I purchased this through Tivada Tarot. They don't carry it anymore. I don't think you can get this deck anywhere. It doesn't have great cardstock, which is the case with many decks printed in Thailand, South America. And the majors in this deck are labeled, but the minor arcana is not. And so what I attempted to do, and I didn't write on it, was to assign the cards a minor arcana association. And for some of them, I was able to do it with ease, and others not so much. And some of them I even, I replaced the assigned major arcana with another one and swapped them out. But I never quite finished this project. So we have maternal instead of maternal and paternal for Emperor and Empress. And it's so funny. This deck is full of VW bugs and old VW vans. It's really sweet. And this is one of the cards I changed. So, oh, there's the world. I sat with these cards for a long time and stared into them. So this one is Comfort Zone. And I went through all of the minor arcana to try to find a home for this. And I think this one landed in Four of Pentacles. And I got most of them done. But it was quite an exercise to try to figure out where the mind of this Buddhist priest was. And the keywords do help a little bit. This one I never did place. The art of kintsugi is really quite extraordinary. And yet, you know, I watched some of the Buddhist inspiration YouTube channels. And I watched one yesterday that said in Buddhist philosophy, old plates and broken vases, chipped vases should be thrown away. We don't want to keep that energy in the home. So it's really interesting that this Buddhist priest would have a kintsugi card in this deck. And I wasn't able to assign this, but this is a powerful healing card through. It's almost like a Ten of Swords in a way, or I don't know, it's like through through the pain, through all the broken bits and pieces of our life, we find the treasure, we find the gold in the healing of all of that. The gold reveals itself. And I've sat and I've verbalized, I've journaled on this card, and I don't think I ever really found its match. This is Sojourn. It's a lovely card. Yeah. So this is the Lux Pragna Tarot. All right, I need to set up for Top Tarot Minors, so let's just do one more because this is a crazy pile. Okay, here's another one. This is one that is also coming out in English mass market. I don't know when, I think soon. And this is indie version. I don't have the box here, so I can't tell you what iteration this is. This is the Lumina Tarot, originally sold through Inner Hue through Lauren Aletta herself. This is illustrated by Tegan Sweeney. And this is one of those very cardboardy kind of decks. You can't riffle shuffle this. It's really thick cardstock. This deck is a pip deck. It has some really interesting cards. And if you read Thoth-inspired decks, if you read Tarot de Marseille decks, you may be able to find your way. You might find some surprising interpretations. It is full of thin, beautiful people in all suits, like this Knight of Wands. It does have some amazing cards. It does have some similarities to the Wild Unknown Tarot. And it also has some very, very poignant cards. The spider web is used in the metaphor. Archetype symbol is used in the Six of Cups. And honestly, the companion oracle, I think, is even better. It's extraordinary. This is one of my favorite Six of Swords of all time. Love that Knight of Swords. And some of the minors really do follow the design of the Tarot de Marseille, but many, many do not. So it's funny how it sort of flips and flops between. That's the Knight of Pentacles with a grizzly bear and a raccoon. Sacred geometry on some ice. Yeah, let me get you. Kind of clever. Seven of Pentacles. I think there's a lot of suits, like business suits in this deck. That is the Fool, which is kind of pretty. There's a, what am I looking for? Here's the Hierophant card, and I don't know why she didn't change the name on that card. Four of Swords. Yeah, so this is the Lumina Tarot, illustrated by Tegan Sweeney. Kind of a sweet Maiden of Pentacles. So, that's it for today, my friends. And I will be back because I want to go through all of these decks, and I'm going to release I'm going to say half of them. I need to replace some equipment here and do a bit of fundraising in order to make that happen. So if you are interested, you can reach out to me through my website and make me an offer, and I'll let you know. There's a few that, of course, I'm not finished. I'm not finished working with. I have no problem passing on a deck if it's sort of done its time. So yeah, thanks for being here. I'll see some of you soon. Take good care of yourselves, and thanks to Nova for this tag. I think this motivation to get all of my out of print decks out of the backs of my cupboards is really great. And I will do an oracle one as well too, because I have a lot of out of print oracles. Have a lovely rest of your day if I don't see you later. Bye bye. Namaste.